Hi, Steve.
Hi, Keith.
And we are the new Dad Rock.
Why do you make me try this every time?
Because one time we're going to get it. I thought we almost got it right there. No?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, kind of like 2020.
I don't know about that.
I bet there are some good things that happened in 2020.
Dude, like what? This year sucked.
Yeah. You and me connecting, starting the New Dad Rock podcast.
Yeah, I guess that might count. I'm not so sure.
Fair enough, dude. But the world has spoken.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We've been listened to in, 47 countries and counting. That's kind of crazy. 47 countries. I don't know that many people. I know some people in a couple other countries.
Yeah, I never knew we'd be a global phenomenon.
Yeah, so I guess one good thing happened in 2020.
Maybe not. Anyway, sorry about that. But, it's the end of the year, and people like to make lists. Like, my kids are making lists for toys and shit they want.
Well, that's Santa. That's a totally different thing. I think what people are talking about at year-end lists is, like, what their favorite things were. Like, movies. Were there even movies this year?
Yeah, I wanted to see that movie about
Borat?
That was by Nolan, but I forgot. It was called Tetris or something. Matrix. I don't know. Tenet. It was called Tenet. I'm dying to see that. They put it in the theaters. They didn't make enough money. Anyway, yeah, not many movies.
It's funny. Even though there was quarantine, I feel like people still really didn't read that many books. I feel like book reading might be over.
I agree that book reading gone down, or at least audiobook listening. Who in their right mind is going to sit around reading a book unless the book's infected you? You accidentally start reading a good book and you're like, damn, and it takes over. That's amazing. But, that's not oftentimes the case. And then, you feel the responsibility to read nonfiction books even though you don't care. Every once in a while someone's like, you got to read this book. I'm like, fuck. It's like a business book. And you're like,
I don't read a lot of nonfiction. Nonfiction books, I'll go to reviews and Wikipedia pages and other commentary about it. I don't know. Sometimes you do find some good fiction. But yeah, you're right. I was putting down Daniel Kelman, one of my favorite writers. I couldn't get into his book. New fiction, man. Anyway, as you can see by the voices in the background, I spend a lot of time with my kids too.
Yeah, dude. I love that part. I think that's been amazing. I've really enjoyed, and my kids are 7 and 10. They're still cute. Well, the younger one is still cute. So I had breakfast with them. I don't have to commute, right? So I think that's why without commuting, I've lost 40 to 60 minutes of music listening. For people, it might be podcasts or audiobooks, so reading probably down like we were just talking about. I bet other good things happened.
There are some good things that happened in 2020, and we're going to take a look back at them. It's hard to do a year-end list. Sometimes great things come out in a year and you just don't get to them until a year or two later. So how can you say at the end of November, early December of a year that something is the best? I remember a couple of years ago this album by this thrash crossover band Red Death, who unfortunately broke up this year. They put an album out in December. It was on nobody's year-end lists because their year-end list was already written. It's kind of like this year. There's a new Avalanches album coming out, and that could be on year-end lists, but people have only heard a couple tracks from it. That being said, that huge preamble.
Dude, it's just a list. I mean, I think people do it for fun. They want to share out. You and I have always had our disagreement about the 10 Deserted Island discs. I get it.
I still think we should do that game show, man.
Dude, I'm on. Yeah, I'm happy to do it. It'd be amazing. Modest Mouse is kidnapped, brought to a deserted island, and forced to play for one of the contestants. It'll be amazing.
I think we could get John Darnielle of the Mountain Goats. I bet he'd be into that.
Oh, he'd be a good host. That'd be awesome. Well, that's for another day, but I think there's one thing you and I both agree upon, and we'll start easy, but as far as best albums of the year that you can recommend to anyone at any time, who do you think it is?
Yeah, I think it's Bartees Strange, Live Forever. It's great. This was something that I was hyped for a year and a half ago when his single In a Cab came out. And then he kind of fell off my radar. And then all of a sudden the album came out. And track by track, almost everything is great. It's been a couple months, but it's held up pretty well.
Yeah, it reminds me of a couple artists. One is Beck and Odelay when it came out, I think in 1996. Like, it just hit, like, all these cool, like, different varieties of things. And Barty Strange does that on Live Forever as well. There's, like, every song's a little different, like, in a different vein, which is so fun. And it also reminded me of, like, the Beatles. You could understand how, like, the songs all came from the same author, but they're all so different. So it's awesome. I put it on randomly, but when anyone's, like, ever like, oh, you do a podcast about music? Well, which I listen to. I'm like, oh, man, check out Barty Strange.
I saw somebody on Twitter the other day said it was Steely Dan for people who like Thundercat. And I thought that was a really apt description. I wish I remembered who it was to give credit to, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, you're still going to have to explain Steely Dan to me. I saw you tweet today about Steely Dan, Black Friday. I saw you talking about Steely Dan before in other episodes, and I still don't get it.
Steely Dan is dad rock.
Our dad's rock.
There's nothing new about it. It's old-timey. It's old-timey music.
All right. So what else have you gotten into this year? What else would be on said list?
Well, I'm going to name two bands, and because they're so prolific, they could fill out most of a top 10 list themselves. So
cool.
One of them we did a show on, the OCs, and I know you've been mentioning John Dwyer's band to me on and off for the past 15 years. We did an episode on them, and I had listened to a couple OCs albums over the years, but this year something clicked, and they released 4 albums this year.
Woo!
Protein Threat, which was, I guess, their main album. Metamorphosized, which was, I think, outtakes of that. Levitation Sessions, that was their live album. Panther Rotate. Anyway, 4 albums came out this year. And then King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, another band that I've heard about. This year I finally jumped in, and they put 3 albums out this year. 2 of them just came out a couple weeks ago, I think in November. KG is their studio album, and then they have an album live in San Francisco. And then they had another live album called Chunky Shrapnel, which is a lyric from a song. That was a live album that came out early in 2020. So that's 7 more right there. So if we're going to fill out the proverbial top 10,
I guess we're done.
That's a very good start right there.
Wait, do you know the lineup in the Lizard, Wizard, Gizzard thing? King.
They definitely have 2 drummers.
2 drummers, yeah, as the OCs do now as well.
And I'm guessing there's like 7 people.
And by the way, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard sounds like the Doors or something to me. Like I just imagine their music sounds like the Doors.
They're Australian. They're psychedelic. They're
that's
like,
what the Doors would sound like 50 years later.
I could see the Doors maybe sounding like that. They're more in the jam band kind of heavier than Fish, but sort of in that direction where they'll, a couple of these tracks are 17, 18 minutes long.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to listen more. Okay, so let's go in with our list of non-lists. We all agree that Barty Strange is good to tell anyone about, Live Forever. Then there's 7 albums by the OCs and the King Lizard Wizard. Let's go for a baker's dozen. So I think it's 7 plus 1 is 8. So we got like 5 more. What do you think about best, old guys? Like people have been around for a while. Like what do you think the best album for a band that's been around for, 20 plus years is?
I think the Flaming Lips album that came out this year, American Head. Every time there's a new Flaming Lips album, one review will say it's the best album since this other album. I mean, it's not the Soft Bulletin, it's not Yoshimi Battles with Pink Robots, but
that's peak hunting, man. That's peak.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got a handful of good songs, and it's enjoyable, and they keep, they're not necessarily pushing the envelope, but they're making sure the envelope's staying on the edge.
I guess all guys in the category, and I'm going to apologize to Stephen Malcolm ahead of time, but I think Traditional Techniques would be like a top contender this year. I had tickets to the show. In fact, I still have tickets to the show. It's at the Fillmore. I think they might have put a new date on in 2021, but I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. It was supposed to be in June, but now it's going to be at least a year later. In fact, I think everyone could just solve all the problems by just make everything a year later, and then you add the 1 over the 0. That's my solution. So anyway, I think Traditional Techniques was amazing. I like why he recorded it that way, and it was like going into studios and seeing cool acoustic instruments and wanting to play more of them and playing them with people who play other acoustic instruments.
Wasn't he making reference to like some obscure 70s AM type singer-songwriter guys?
Oh, I'm sure there's an artistry beyond anything I would ever know. Besides looking on Wikipedia.
Right.
Wait. Song of the Year according to a kid. And for me, I can tell you it's Roddy Ricch, The Box. Like, Jasper can sing the song in and out. It is probably a top 10 hit of the year. It might have won Song of the Year. Like, it's that good a song. So that's the Song of the Year in a lot of ways. And has some neat flows, man. It's really cool. So, what do you think the Song of the Year according to one of your kids is?
Okay, so I have 3 daughters, as you know. My 12-year-old had 3 friends here. They're all hanging out. And I asked all 4 of them what the Song of the Year was. What's the most popular song this year? Not one of them had any clue, not even one thought of a song. I also have a 14-year-old daughter. She was here with a friend. And I texted and asked her, I said, what's the best song? You guys know her, Sadie. She was on a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So she has a friend over.
I was laughing because you texted her.
Yeah, she was upstairs. I didn't want to go up.
I get it.
But she had no idea. She didn't even understand the question. So that was 6 kids I asked. My 16-year-old, she would just tell me it was a stupid question. So my answer is I have no idea. Only one kid admitted to actually have listening to music. Yes.
Wait, no, so we're trying to do a top 10, top 20 list or whatever. Best posthumous albums this year. What do you think are contenders? Nominees?
You should start here, buddy. You know.
Well, I don't know. The only reason I ask you for nominees because I know who I'm giving it to, and you know who I'm giving it to. It's Juice WRLD, man. And literally last night, I listened to Juice WRLD freestyles for like 30, 40 minutes, and I cried. Oh, sorry, I almost cried. I cried-ish. like my eyes closed, tears came out.
Yeah.
I was really sad, actually. It was really sad. He's such talent. Dude, Juice WRLD's album's sick. Okay, so hold on.
Yeah, we did an episode about it, I remember.
Yeah,
it's like our most popular episode.
No, it's going to be our second most popular episode in about a week. Like, dude, this No Direction episode has legs. like
it's One Direction, by the way.
Well, No Direction.
You missed a letter.
Did I?
You cropped the 0 off the beginning of it.
That's exactly. Poor Harry Styles. Anyway, it was great to talk to your daughter.
Well, the day that episode came out, Harry Styles got nominated for 3 Grammys. So, you heard it here first on the new Dad Rock. This Harry Styles, he's going places.
We covered a little, best old-timey song, best 2 bands that released everything, and, Barty Strange. But it sucked in a lot of ways for musicians.
One thing that, that really sucked about 2020, so you couldn't even go to shows this year. So the advent of live streams, I think, was one of the, I guess, somewhat positive. And maybe you get to see more bands live because there might be more streaming of their shows. I don't know. I saw several live streams. What would you say? I think the one I was blown away by was Oranssi Pazuzu, who, by the way, put out a fantastic album this year that met all expectations, exceeded mine, and I had seen them perform half the album live the year before. If you're into Finnish black metal or psychedelic music, or you just want to hear what an evil wind spirit from the Finnish...
No. Oh, there's no evil in it. Oh, I gotta tell you, I think that's my...
There is evil in it. In fact, their keyboardist is named Evil. Evill is the keyboardist's name.
Fine.
They're evil.
Fine. I just don't want to scare anyone off. I thought that live stream or recorded live stream was the sickest thing I've seen in a long...
No, it was live. All that stuff was in-camera tricks. That was recorded live.
Wait, no, I know it was recorded live, but was it broadcast live?
No, it was live. Yes.
It was. We went back and found this.
I went back and checked it.
Yeah, it was the sickest shit I've ever seen. I'm saying it's Hamilton of the year. It's like when I saw Hamilton the year, it was the greatest art ever. Like, rap, hip hop, history on the stage mechanics were amazing. Dude, it was just Hamilton for me for this year. I know it was June, so it was the middle of the year.
Yeah. So what they were performing was their new album, and their latest album, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I know the English translation of the Finnish word is The Master's Claw. They're the most interesting band in metal right now.
I don't know.
Honestly, if you are all interested in like avant-garde, what has happened, it's not for everyone, but Oranssi Pazuzu.
No. I think
So good.
I would actually beg difference. Say that I think that live stream that they recorded, that was I think in June, was so good. Watching that live is like watching Hamilton. They had so much art put into it. Not only their music, which sounded great, and probably the only time you'll like it. There's lighters. There's cinematographers. Like there's people producing this. Like there's a lot of people working on this piece of art live. And live art, like live sports, is just awesome. Like the more people participating in a live event and making it happen, just makes it sicker. So, all right. So best live stream.
So besides Oranssi Pazuzu, what other live streams? We talked about the Greg Dully one, which I thought was good.
I thought it was good. I thought the OCs was good.
I didn't see that one. One of the things I thought was really cool was, I mean, they weren't live. It was recorded shows from years ago, but live concerts that Fish did every Tuesday was their dinner and a movie. If I remembered, and it was Tuesday. I tuned in and heard some really good sets.
I don't know when I discovered that. Might have been April, might have been May. It was pretty early. I switched jobs in mid-May. You start working from home all the time. You lose connection. Your band can't play or practice anywhere. And then, like, the only people you know is work. You switch jobs. You move. Anyway, so Fish starts doing this every Tuesday. I listened religiously every Tuesday. I mean, and by religiously, I mean every other week. It was cool. They're picking their favorite shows they've ever done. Why they picked them so interesting.
They were doing it for charity as well. So they were raising money and they were selling some dry goods to raise money.
Yeah, and they had recipes. Vegan recipes, I think, usually, so that people could cook dinner and a movie, which is one of their songs off of Junta, I think, their double album. Oh, by the way, you know that Trey Anastasio is doing these live charity shows every Friday from the Beacon Theater. I'm not sure where the Beacon Theater is.
The Beacon Theater is on the Upper West Side, like on 70.
But do you think Trey's in New York City, or do you think it's a Beacon Theater in New Hampshire?
I'm sure it's the Beacon Theater. That's a residential part of the city, though. Even he could literally live 2 blocks away from there.
All right, yeah. So it's really cool and really cool. I mean, it's really. So I always accidentally go on. So do you use Twitch on your mobile phone?
I don't even know what Twitch is.
Twitch is an app, and it shows live video.
But is it live streaming or recorded? Is it all?
Oh, no. You can buy. So if you become a member and you pay for money, you can watch previous sessions.
Pay for money?
Pay for money, dude. Yeah, if you buy a subscription. I'm the in New Dad Rock. Wait, who's Keith? He's the in the New Dad Rock.
He's the Zissou.
So you go on it. I click it. I get there. I put my headphones on. Jasper's playing soccer. I click it, and it will show me what's live that I've watched before, which is only 3 to 6 things. But usually maybe one thing. And I watched Trey Anastasio play. And he's at the Beacon Theater. And he'll just tell these long stories. He's making fun of himself. He's got
VH1 storytellers.
Oh, but live. it's great. But he'll do different songs. They did this Harry Hood with the 4-person orchestra. It was cool. I was about to say Floyd. I like Fish enough that I like what they attempt. Anyway, and even if it's just one of them, Trey's attempts are awesome. Okay, so for maybe your New Year's resolution, Twitch.
All right. Yeah, my New Year's resolution is going to be 2 things. I will watch Twitch is 1. And 2, I'm really going to delve into the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Is it that fun?
I can tell they're one of those bands that are going to be good to listen to in the car when I'm going skiing this winter. On the long drives, jamming out. Got that crunchy upstate New York feel, even though they're from Australia.
Yeah, no, well, that makes sense. Dude, I sent you Dogleg. Did you like Dogleg? They reminded me of Karate.
I didn't give it a fair shake.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, yeah. Do you ever hear the Young Jesus?
I didn't hear the Young Jesus. I've been listening to this other band, Ganser. They kind of fall into that same almost retro 90s in some extent. I don't want to diminish them at all, but they're definitely influenced by that.
Totally, 100%.
I mean, obviously in the 90s you got taken by a band. I overheard a couple of guys in the beer store talking about their favorite 90s bands, and they were kids that were like 22 years old probably. And they were like, Nirvana, it's either Pearl Jam or Nirvana, and they're like, I like Soundgarden, and Temple of the Dog's cool too. And I'm just like, oh my god, man, you should check out the Afghan Wigs. I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm like,
that's interesting. So you're going to tell a young person how to check out music. How do you tell them check it out? Like, is it on SoundCloud? Do you tell them an album? Do you tell them a band? Do you tell them a song? Like, for Afghan Wigs.
Up until a couple years ago, I was ripping them CDs. No, what I would do is I would make a playlist on, if they have a similar streaming service to me, I would just make a playlist and send it to them. Or otherwise, I would probably just text them 5 to 8 different YouTube videos.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
In summary, obviously this podcast was born in 2020. We're in the midst of our second and third season. For those of you who have even wondered, I don't know why you would even wonder about this, but we have season 1, which was kind of when we were going through the feeling it out phase. We didn't really know we didn't know what we were doing exactly.
Exactly.
And then arbitrarily, the next week it became season 2, because I guess at that point we felt like we knew what we were doing, or maybe we had taken a week off.
I think we sort of said we just need to break it so we stop and reflect on how we can make it greater.
Right. And then anytime we have a guest, that's season 3, because that's 3 people.
I love that. I'm excited for season 4, which I don't know when it starts, but whatever season 4 is will be amazing.
I think we're going to be in season 2 for a while.
Dude, it's 2021 coming up. It's a new decade. I think it should be season 4 the minute we land.
We kind of summarized a few of the cool things that we found in 2020, mostly music-wise. But we'll be back with you.
That sounds great. I love this idea. Goodbye!
All right. Happy.
Joy.